are back again. We're here with Court. Court, tell us a little bit about who you are, your name, and what you do, and all the things.
Okay. I'm Court McCracken. I'm a visual artist and a creativity cultivator at my business, Art Nurture.
Which is wonderful. I'm a big fan. What was that playing? One of the questions that we've been asking around to all the people that we've interviewed and that we're going to keep on interviewing is how all this situation has affected you, if it did at all, if it didn't, has it pushed you to do certain things that you wouldn't have thought of? And, how is it affecting you altogether, this whole craziness?
It's definitely affecting me. I'm a person who, lives in the world. I do things. I go to workshops. I go to coffee shops for writers meetings. I see students in person. Also typically don't have any worries or concerns going to the grocery store. So, I'm totally affected by this. I'm definitely affected by this. And, I already had some clients that I worked with from a distance remotely. And so it's kind of been that trying to get everyone sort of situated in that way if they're able to begin doing our private lessons, because I do visual arts mentorships. And then I also do one-on-one creativity coaching. So I've been moving all of my one-on-one clients to distance work. And that's been good for everyone who's able to continue doing that. That's what I've been doing. And right now I'm missing out on like the in-person workshops that I typically host in my studio. Yeah. So those aren't happening. And I have been for about 5 years working on putting a lot of content online. And I did a beta run of a particular course about 4 years ago and had some people in that, and then have been busy doing a lot of in-person stuff over the last 4 years. So now I've had the time to, complete all the coding on that to make sure that it would be able to handle, that class would be able to handle a larger volume. And that's what I'm working on right now. And I've been spending my time, when I'm not being a person who's just like concerned about, food and health and survival, as we all are, which I want to say that's, as a creativity cultivator, I can't help myself but talk about our creative energy.
Oh, yeah.
And creative energy flows through every single thing that we do in our lives. Mm-hmm. That whole Maslow's hierarchy of needs, like creative energy, like flows through all of that stuff, right? So now all of us are thinking about survival and health and well-being and how are we going to get our food and our medicines, etc. And so we're using tons of creative energy and output right now, just navigating this new set of issues that we're all facing.
Trying to figure it out.
Yeah. And so I think like that's something that I want to just like tell people from my creative heart to yours as a creativity cultivator and an art nurturer. I just want to tell people like we're all outputting a great deal of creative energy every day right now, whether you're making a painting or doing a project or not. Just surviving is something that takes a lot of creative energy. And sometimes when you're in the midst of a disaster or a pandemic, you're taking more of that survival creative energy and you're using it every day. So first of all, just like be gentle with yourself. Pat yourself on the back. You're doing okay. And it's going to fluctuate. Like sometimes you might feel more inspired to work on a project or clean your house or whatever. And sometimes you're not going to feel that way. So just like, be gentle with yourself that this is taking a lot of creative output for all of us to, take care of our health day to day and navigate this new situation that we're all in. And so, to answer your question though, about has it changed what I'm doing? Yeah, because I've been slowly and steadily working on making sure that this art school course that I've been working on, I've been working on it for a long time. And I had already planned on releasing it this year, again, like relaunching it. So that's something I had already had in my scheme and I've been working pretty steadily on for the last 5 months, actually. So now I've had more time to sit at my computer, you know, like it's
I
all
feel you. I feel you.
I mean, like people are like, you know, I have a lot of friends that are like, I'm so bored. And I'm like, I'm just coding. Like, you know? So I haven't felt bored. I've definitely
Right.
felt like stressed and anxious, of course, but,
Right.
you know, and maybe had trouble with some of those like other like day-to-day symptoms of like, you know, maybe having struggle sleeping and having to like turn off the news,
Yeah.
etc., because of stress. But I've also been really busy trying to get my class ready for
Right.
people to come in. So, you know, I've been able to focus on that, and I'll be ready to release it next week. So I'm excited
Awesome.
to be able to share that with people. It's called So You Wish You Went to Art School.
That's wonderful. No, that's wonderful. Yeah, I think that we're all in the same boat. And that, have you found things that you thought that you didn't want to do and now you decided to just cleanse them out? Did you find things that you wanted to do and of course you said, you know what, there's no better time than now to do them,
Yeah,
and just moving forward with them?
I've just been like, since I've had more time on my hands, I've
Right.
just been reaching out to all kinds of people that I want to work with.
Right.
You
Right.
know, like something that I don't have time to do like week to week, day to day, as much as I would like. I'm just like, hey, I would love to work with you. You're
Right.
awesome. Or, hey, I think I could do this for you, you know? And it's like, I understand that in some ways business has like slowed. And I really think that sort of what is happening is that sometimes conversations are just taking longer,
Right.
you know, because we're all in a place of uncertainty with
Right.
jobs and businesses being, you know, like, so
Yeah.
like, what can I do online? You know, what
Right.
can I do through exchange of communication?
So
You know, like,
innovate, yeah, innovating your ways really into doing
yeah, just
different.
kind
Yeah.
of figuring out like, what is it that I can do? What can I offer people?
Right.
You know, and sometimes I feel a little more creative than others.
Would you, oh yeah, I feel bipolar the whole week.
Yeah.
Would you would you continue on doing like things online once the dust settles a little bit, because it will, and things will get better?
Yeah. So I do feel that it's always been a part of my long-term plan to have more offerings online. And that's because I struggle with chronic migraines.
Mhm.
And I have struggled with chronic migraines for many, many years,
Right.
closing in on a decade now. So, you know, for me, it's something that it has been on my mind for a really long time. And I've done some of it, like
Right.
some, but I've always known that I needed to, you know, to do a little bit more,
Right.
so that I could help alleviate some of the pressure on like what I'm doing in person,
Right.
um, you know, and some of like the physical limitations that I experience sometimes.
Right.
Um, and so, you know, that's been a part of my long-term plan for my health for a long time anyways. And so what's interesting is, you know, a number of years ago, before I had good treatment for my chronic migraines, you know, I wasn't doing very well, and I wasn't able to
Right.
go out and work in the same way and teach in the same way that I
Right.
had been. So I had to like figure out some changes then anyways.
Mhm.
And I feel like going through that at time, you know, where I struggled to leave home because of my chronic
Right.
illness, I feel like that almost weirdly prepared me for this,
Right.
because like, yeah, I'm like, oh, 1 month I was at home for 6, you know, like 7 years ago, you know, so
Right.
it's
Right.
like it feels familiar to me, but it's different now that it's a collective experience.
Right.
And I know how hard that time in my life was.
Right.
It was really hard. So I understand that it's like shocking for people, because that was a challenging time in my life
Right.
for
And for
sure.
people, like you said, that there is an uncertainty or of when this is eventually going to be, better or
Yeah.
over or whatever, the vaccine will be out or whatever it is that they're working on. Um, that I think it's what freaks people out the most. I mean, it freaks me out at least, thinking that, well, when is that happening? Do we have a schedule for that?
Yeah, I
Is it
know.
happening next week or in a month? When is it happening?
I
Whatever
love
that is.
calendars too. Like I love calendars. I like to know when, and like I agree. Like the hardest part about this experience is that it is bringing us all face to face with our relationship with uncertainty.
Oh yeah.
And that's like uncertainty always exists, like it's always there, but we take it for great, like we don't
Well,
really
we take it for granted because we think that we can control everything, and we
exactly
really
like
are
we have
in
like
control of absolutely nothing.
like a belief that we can control, which
Yeah.
isn't true,
Nope.
because prior to me getting chronic migraines, I was like a hardcore athlete. Like I ran marathons and
Yeah,
doing stuff like that I can't do anymore.
yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? So it was like I felt like I lost, my body because
Right.
it really brought me face to face with that. And so I definitely understand that because it is very uncertain. It's all very uncertain right now.
Yeah.
And that's super scary for us as people individually, but then also as a collective.
Yes.
And I think that's why I think engaging in the arts or creativity that makes you feel good is really important, because creativity trains us for resiliency,
Right.
to like navigate and be buoyant and all of that. So if you're able to engage in something that brings you creative joy, whatever it is,
Right.
that could be a huge part of just our general mental
Right.
health, survival and plan.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going to ask you, if you have any tips or conclusions for, or thoughts for people, what to do with their time, because I will feel really bad if they like completely wasted watching the Tiger King or whatever it is that they're watching these days, instead of
Yeah.
just like going in and saying, I can actually take this time to be a better human,
Yeah.
and, make
So
an impact in this world.
Tiger King. It's like I cannot make it through one day of this quarantine without hearing Tiger King. This is the funniest thing.
I refuse to watch it. I'm not going to. I refuse. I am not gonna. I'm not doing it. Not doing
Yeah,
it.
I have a lot of friends who have been like calling me. I've been taking time to connect with people every
Right?
day
Yeah.
via the phone or video, and
Yeah.
that helped me immensely.
Right.
And helped me stay away from the news too much. I just do my
Oh
like
yeah.
morning and evening news check-in just to
Yeah. It
make sure,
doesn't help.
okay, I know what's
Yeah.
going on, and I'm not gonna watch it the rest of the day.
Totally.
I told my friend though, I was like, I am not yet at the Tiger King portion of my quarantine. I'll let
Not there
you know when
yet.
I get there. But I think that, my biggest tip I would say is that, allow yourself to follow your curiosity
Right.
and your sense of wonder, because that can lead us to that feeling of hope. So if you do get to like I go on a little walk on I live kind of out in the country, and I go on a little walk on our quiet street, and I'm just like slowing down
Right.
and looking at like a little flower here, a little, and if I feel like looking something up, like I just look it up. Like if I want to learn about something, I'm just like, hey, I wonder about this artist, and I'm just using my time to engage in something that leads me to a sense of wonder
Right.
and hope and joy, engaging in projects that do bring you joy on some level. And some days it's really the practice. Some of my friends call it the chop wood, carry water. Like
Right.
you just do the meditative practices of taking care of yourself and
Right.
allow that to be, be something that feeds you.
Right.
Like yesterday, I was like, I needed a break from working on the computer. So I
Right.
just focused on chores.
That's it.
And I really hadn't done, like a lot of people have been cleaning out their whole house. I hadn't done that yet. I had actually felt like my house got a little messier because I was so like enwrapped.
Oh man, thank goodness you don't see anything behind me, because there's piles of books, because I have stations of the things that I want. Well, I have stations of the things that I want to do. So I'm like, I don't have to go anywhere. So I'm like, okay, I leave it right here because I will come back to it. So there's piles of things.
Yeah, I definitely, like, you're not seeing what's behind.
Yeah.
For a reason, and I put you here for a reason.
Yeah.
I definitely, I feel like I've been excited about sharing my online course for a really long time, like months and years.
Cool.
So the fact that I have had that ability to, like, because normally in my day-to-day life, I'm so scheduled that I don't have the ability to be that stereotypical artist that just allows yourself to be totally enraptured in your creativity. I don't have to do that. I have to really, like,
schedule the time.
Schedule, and like, and when I show up and it's my 2 hours to paint, I just do it, so I haven't had to do that. I've been able to be more fluid in my creative
Right.
process. And it kind of has reminded me a little bit of like what it felt like when I was in art school, you
Right.
know, like to just be like totally engrossed in something and allow myself to do that. It almost felt like an indulgence, you know, for me.
Would you change some things to be able to do that moving forward?
Yeah, like I probably would love the chance to have at least one day a week where I could
Right.
be totally engrossed, as opposed to, you know, where I have been at, which was being super busy.
Right.
Um, I like being busy though, like that's, you
Right.
know, for me, it's probably more of a struggle to like slow down and
Right.
rest because I just like doing stuff.
Right. 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 Right.
So
Okay.
that's where I'm at.
Well, you know, and like I said, I'm just trying to get people to uh be productive. That not doesn't mean that you have to be busy all the time doing the things that
Right?
you never did, but do something that actually inspires you to
Yeah.
keep on going, and to, because again, the water will recede, everything will go back to
Yeah.
somewhat, you know, in the rhythm of things, and it's better to like be ready for it too. Why not? I mean,
Yeah.
you have it, like you said, we have the time now.
Yeah.
And we normally always have the time, just people don't realize that either, because I tend to make time for the things that I really want to do. So, but not everybody puts that priority. I do. I just, it's just
Right.
the thing of who I am. Like, I will make time to have lunch with a friend,
Yes.
because it's, to me, that's important, or have coffee with a friend. I always say yes, no matter what.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I
well,
think
thank you.
wonderful. Yeah, I love that. And I think our perception of time is really changing too.
Yeah, it is. And that's, I'm excited about
Yeah,
that.
yeah, especially as a creative such as yourself. I
Yeah.
know because we can see and experience time in new ways right now.
Yeah.
And it's a lot to face. So
Oh
be
yeah.
loving and gentle with yourself, but also be curious and creative.
Yeah, and just, you know, take one day at a time. That's all we
Yes,
can do.
that's all
Well,
we can
thank you so much for being part of this. I enjoyed it a lot, and we are going to keep on posting things like this, and interesting conversations with different kinds of peoples. But I appreciate you being part of this.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it too.